MTDCNC podcast, sponsored by Langley Alloys, unique metals for demanding applications, providing first-class performance and an international service.
Welcome to today's MTDCNC podcast. My name's Lyndsey Vickers. I'm a presenter at MTDCNC. And today I have travelled not very far from our main offices in Northampton to a company called R&G Precision. I am sitting next to the managing director, Enzo. How do you say your surname, Enzo?
Chiarelli.
Yeah, I couldn't have done it as well as that.
That's right.
And he is the managing director of R&G Precision. And today's podcast, I'm really looking forward to, because this company have got quite a name in industry. You're quite hot, shall we say, on LinkedIn, and you like that platform.
I'm nosy on LinkedIn.
You're nosy on LinkedIn, but you've had quite a transformation.
Yes,
as a company and within R&G Precision. So let's start off by introducing Enzo, and if you can introduce kind of where this company began and where you are today, really, Enzo.
So the company was set up in, I believe, 1973 by my father-in-law, who I think, as I remember the story correctly, had enough of working for somebody, believe it or not, and decided to make the jump to do his own business, having no experience in sales or business admin or anything like that. They set off in a garage somewhere, started doing work. He went around cold calling, which he absolutely hated it. And it sort of grew from there and became a big name in the shoe industry, which was well known in the area, Northamptonshire. And then grew from there. And I joined the company in, oh God, I'm going to show my age now, 1990, and started to learn from the shop floor level, machine operating, making tea. Yeah, I made tea. Yeah.
And all of ask you for a long wait.
And all of that, and sort of built my way in. He then went in for some surgery. And suddenly I found myself in the deep end, and I was like, geez, I don't know anything about business running. And I'm glad it did, because I'm the kind of person that needs to be thrown in the deep end. Get on with it. Stop moaning, get on with it. We then moved over to Rushden. I brought in the motorsport side, and it grew. Technologically, it grew from there. And now we are 50 people, 51. All in, and he's taken a back seat now and taken the company over from him back in May this year, and moving on to the next level with automation and lights out and all those wonderful, exciting things. Which I think if I was in his position, I'd probably be concerned, because it takes a lot to understand and implement that. But it's exciting. So yeah, it's moved on from two guys who were working at a company now to 50 years, actually, this year. 50 years later, still going, and it's 51 people strong.
Wow. So this is basically going to be a story of your transformation and the journey. I think that's what I want to get out from yourself, Enzo, is what it's like to run a machine shop. What are some of the toughest decisions you've had to make? And as this podcast will, as we go through, I want the audience to really understand the highs and lows, basically, of running a machine shop, and some decisions you've had to make. Because 4 years ago, for me, I came into this company for the first time. We were doing Swarf and Chips at the time. And you said, oh, come and have a look around. And you showed me. It was your baby. And you could sense that straight away as soon as I walked in. And you had some of the Fanuc machines, you had some Brother machines, and you had an open floor. I remember it. It's crazy, isn't it, how fast time goes, like it was yesterday.
It is. It's crazy.
And the middle area of of the business, it was there was space.
Yeah.
I've walked in here 4 years on, and your machine shop has transformed. You're talking in a different way. You've always been comfortable on camera, but your persona has changed. Decisions have been made.
Yeah.
So what changed in that 4 years? What's happened?
So
COVID,
yeah.
Yeah.
What's that?
No,
Yeah,
that's
remember
me,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, I know. So that's an interesting point, actually, Lyndsey, because when you came in exactly as you've just explained, and we looked at that first machine, and we were just embarking on the journey for automation and lights out. The company actually, although being a very, very, very small shareholder, it wasn't mine. So it was like I was running it, obviously, but I wasn't free to do and implement exactly as I wanted it. So I'd started to think about it, and I started to think about what it would have taken for me to run it, and what I would have needed, and how I saw the company going. So although I started thinking about it, I hadn't actually implemented it because it wasn't mine to implement.
Yeah.
So I guess I used that time to test the water with the lights out and the automation.
So was that more comfortable for you because it wasn't your, yes.
Yeah,
I've got
it
a nod.
was. So the decision was to be made. What do we do? Do I take it on? Do we sell? What do we do? And it took a long time. It was a bit of an uncomfortable time because I had to say to myself, you've got 40 odd people. You've got to keep those people fed. You've got to keep those machines fed. You've got 40 people whose basically lives depend on you.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously they could have gone somewhere else, but you've got responsibility of 40 families.
Yeah.
Can I do that? Can I supply the company with enough work? How do I do it? Do I get a salesman? Do I do trade shows? How am I going to do this? And I wasn't sure because, and then I thought to myself, do I halve it? Do I make it smaller and start again?
Yeah.
And then I thought to myself, well, no, it's not you. It's not you. You like a challenge. You like targets. You like goals. And I saw that and I thought, okay, let's look at if I've got to do this, I've got to go through automation. I've got to go through lights out.
So you knew lights out was the only way forward.
Yeah, because
to grow, you needed to go lights out.
Yes.
To halve, that wasn't
correct.
the right direction.
I think to grow and to make the company comfortable for me to run, I needed automation and lights out. If you've got too many spindles, it can become a headache.
Yeah, because you had lots of Fanucs when I was here, and you were just starting out on your journey.
So since that time, so just to give you an idea, we got rid of 4, 8, 10 machines.
10 machines.
And replaced them with 2 MXs and a MAM.
Right. Oh, okay.
So, but oddly enough, obviously, because of the pallets, you've got more capacity.
Yes.
So that's where I wanted to be. I wanted to be where I haven't got so many spindles and, single part on each machine. I wanted it, if I've got to do it, I've got to do it so it's automated. It's funny. It's like it's a less of a headache. You haven't got too many things, excuse me, to look at and too many people to oversee. I wanted the turnover to stay the same and increase, obviously, but to reduce the number of spindles.
You know what? I don't think I've ever heard anyone say that before, as in reducing. Of course, people talk about, obviously, the pallet systems and automating, but the fact that you've done that, you've removed, physically removed.
Yeah, and that was the plan. That's the plan for the next 5 years is to take 3 spindles out and put one in, a multi-pallet. But yeah, it was an uncomfortable time, and it was a tough decision, and it took about 18 months to take that decision. to go forward. Yeah. And
Where
I've made the right one. I'm sure I've made. Well, you can see it.
I can
Hopefully,
see.
I've made the right one.
We can see because, well, that's what I want you to tell everybody. So where are you today? What have you got on your shop floor? Because you've still got a lot of your single spindles. Of course you have. So what does your shop floor now look like?
So obviously the 8 Matsuuras, multi-pallets, we've still got, and I never will, I can honestly say that I never will get rid of single spindle machines. No, because they're good for fixture making. They're good for quick one-off tooling for customers. And they've all got 4th axis on, so they're still great machines. So, we've got the 5 Hasses, we've got 6 Robos left, but the plan going forward is, like I said, is to get rid of 3 and replace with 1. But I'll still think I will keep definitely some single table, single spindle machines. Because they're handy.
They're handy.
Yeah.
Now, from one of my earlier interviews with you, I can't remember, it was 2020 or 2022. You spoke about maximising your customers. So, of course, you've got your machines, and you wanted to, because you had your Matsuuras and it was a big leap to take, you wanted to extract more work from the current customer base. But you've had quite a transformation. There's quite a story here from where you were then to where you are today. What's that story?
So with that, as I say, with the first MX that came in, you're quite rightly saying that we offered more capacity to current customers, and the way that I was able to justify buying that first MX was trying to say to my customers, right, I've got this. This is where the company's moving into. Are you interested? And they were like, okay, well, what's in it for us? I said, well, obviously, if you give me batches, I can reduce the costs. I can run lights out.
Is that how you did it?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Don't give away my secrets.
No. There's a lot of people going to listen.
No, I'm joking. So that's how we did it. And obviously, they came and they were interested in doing that. And instead of saying, there's 5 components, I'm going to need 10 this month, maybe not none next month, but the following month I might need 20. I said to them, right, I've got this machine now where I can set up not just one of your parts, 10 different parts if I want to. Give me a schedule for 6 months. Make that commitment. I can then, you're not costing the 10 off then, you're costing 100 or 200 or 300, which brings the cost down. I can then say, right, where are we from an hourly rate perspective? If we are at X amount, we run during the day. If it works out that we have to be at a lower rate, we run at night. And if it's lower again, we run at the weekend. So that's how I've done it. So my very, very lowest rate would be Saturday, Sunday, because it's not doing anything anyway, so I might as well do something. And then the highest rate is during the day. But then that enabled me to push that idea out into the field and won us this wonderful contract that I've got until 2035, I believe.
Oh, just casual. Come
Yeah,
on, give us the goods
exactly.
on this one. We need to hear this one. This isn't something that happens. This is like the dream, isn't it? This story.
Yeah, and that's it's sort of come out of the blue, quite funnily actually.
Wow.
So it was browsing on LinkedIn as I do, and I find it very, very helpful tool actually to learn and to get what you want. Because if you put something on LinkedIn, the ears prick up. But anyway, I found this guy who
giving exposure. I think that's
I like it. Yeah, giving exposure.
Yeah.
There was a guy on there that we'd done work for before up near Manchester, and he moved on. Sort of lost contact with him, and then it's funny how these things happen. He just popped up on my page, and like they say, he's got a new job. Blah blah blah. Say congratulations. And I thought, so I sent him a message, and literally it was, how you doing? Long time. What you're doing nowadays, and I see that you've moved jobs. And he replied that he was in Canada and he was doing aircraft components, and literally said, "Do you machine titanium?" And I went, "Yes." And he said, "Right." He said, "I'm going to send you some inquiries." And lo and behold, I had, I'm not going to lie, I think I've got it in my cupboard actually, a spreadsheet of 157 pages of parts.
Wow.
Can you work through these and quote them?
157
Pages. And I went home and I thought,
I'm onto something here.
What do I do?
This is big.
And I started going through them, and they were like aerostructures, and I was like, too big. And I was working through them, and I started getting a bit, not demoralised, but I thought, oh, God, I thought something was going to be big here for us, and we can't make any of these parts. But then came like the next, and then it was like sent in different smaller batches, and then came the more machinable ones. So within first day of contact to signing the contract, first day of contact to signing the contract, they flew over 4 months. 320 parts assigned to us. But it doesn't end there, because then 18 months later they came over, hence why now we've got 8 Matsuuras. They came over and said, "Help, we need between 300 and 450 hours of capacity from you every month."
Oh my God.
Yeah, so it went from walking pace to sprinting. And that's why, I had the confidence to give Matsuura the orders to, like I said, work through the parts, look at the portfolio of parts, and they helped me with, we'll put all of these on an MX, and then you want a MAM for all of these. And that's how we went through and decided what machines to do. So, yeah, teeth are well and truly into that now, so we're cutting. Yeah. But yeah, that's the ups. The downs are trying to keep everyone happy. You're always going to get an issue no matter what you do, and it's trying to resolve that issue and be prepared. It's almost as if you need like a library in your head of like issues you're going to be faced, and you need the answer there quickly. I've seen this before. Okay, I'm not happy with this. I'm not happy with that. You think, seriously? Let's look at the bigger picture. So it's great. You get the pleasure of seeing a part going out. You know where it's going, and you feel proud because you think, wow, look what we've made. But then you get the other side of it where you have to deal with unhappiness, and everyone gets it. All companies get it. You can't be perfect. And I tell you, if you think that you're perfect, then you don't know what's going on in your company. And that for me is, I try to be helpful as much as I can. Hence why you see the pizza van outside today, Lyndsey.
Yeah, well, yes. Not going to lie, that did happen.
It's nice to pay back, and to make them feel that they're appreciated.
You have a lovely lady that works here.
What, in dispatch? Who's that?
You have quite a few lovely ladies that work here, but when I was just thinking then, it's your wife, Louise.
Yes.
So it was Louise's father that was the original gentleman who originally started off the business. How's that? Because the first thing I see Louise, she's lovely. Every single time I've been here, she's like offered me donuts and food, and I think
we're Italian.
Yeah, I was going to say that's the Italian
food
side.
Comes standard.
Yeah, absolutely. I know when I was here, I was like, oh, they're lovely there, and oh, Louise is just so kind, and you're just a lovely company to visit. But on a personal side now, and we will go back to the machines, but that is part of it. But you work with your other half. How do you find that? And are you always talking about work?
Luckily, no. We're able to. So I again, obviously, from when I joined the company, it was working with her father. I mean, she was never projected to be part of the company, but obviously things happen, and as a family, you lend a helping hand, and from lending a helping hand, all of a sudden you find yourself employed. No, it was difficult working with her father, and only purely because of the age gap difference and the technology that he had and he knew, and obviously technology had moved on dramatically since he started, and it was trying to hold on, almost probably being scared to admit that technology has got a bit beyond him now.
Okay.
So it was always, but I'd learned to, if I wanted something like a machine or in this case, like the MX, I'd learned to, in the end, to say that, make him think it was his idea instead of mine.
Oh,
yeah.
Yes.
And, he fantastic job he's done. I mean, he came from Italy at, what was he, about 8, 9? Couldn't speak English, couldn't read or write. Went straight to Scotland, worked on a farm with his parents, never went to school. He's got no schooling whatsoever.
Never went to school?
No, it's got no schooling whatsoever. And just by pure bravery and guts, he's created this. And that is, you imagine, that's such an amazing achievement for him. And he was really desperate for it to continue.
Yeah.
And when I said to him, yeah, okay, we'll take it over. He was the happiest man in the world, and that his company stays on.
I
But
think
yeah,
he'd probably be very proud as well that his daughter's part of the company. It's
and he doesn't ask. He's not nosy about what's happening, but he likes to know. And I know that every now and then I just drop a one-liner, and he knows that it's in safe hands. So yeah, no, it's not difficult to work with. It's not difficult to work as a pair. Obviously, if I'm not here, if I've got an appointment or I'm not here the afternoon and something happens as she is, it will be said in the evening. But no, apart from that, no.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
I detect that she's very much the glue that is working with you and the team together, and it's nice to have her in the background. She's so lovely. Sorry, I've got to praise it. I can't praise her enough, to be honest. It's obviously the HR role, which is very fundamental in a company. It's
and
people.
I wouldn't want to do it. I'll be honest with you. I would not want to do it because you are the number one person that the people come to if they've got an issue, and that's awful.
Yeah, it's hard.
So yeah, it's working together, and I mean, I say I've been here since 1990, so I've grown up in the company. So she's suddenly finding herself as actually being 50% shareholder of a company. It's like, oh, what does that mean?
Wow, yes.
So there's still a lot for her to learn, but yeah, the team's great, and they all work together, and they help each other, which is wonderful.
It's always good to keep learning. Okay, let's move on then. So you've got this fantastic contract. Want to talk about these machines. So why did you go for Matsuura's? Because, we know the machine. We know, as you told me in the interview, your favourite colour is blue. Right to the end. But why the Matsuura's? What is it that these machines have that you go, yes?
What do they have? I mean, first and foremost, they've got a wonderful reputation. And
thanks to MTDCNC.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was just about to say.
No, but at the end of the day, we go to case studies. It's real life people talking about their real life experiences.
and that's what it is. It's if genuinely, honestly, you've asked me the question, and my honest answer is they've got a wonderful reputation, and getting involved with them many, many years ago, it was funny actually, because before we bought the very first used MAM, it was like, oh my God, these machines are so expensive. Look at them, they're like, wow, all these motorsport companies have got them and they're running these engine blocks, and I wish I could afford one of them, one day.
Yeah, it's aspiring.
Yeah. And it was given that opening by Dominic on saying, look, listen, I know you probably can't afford a new one, but there is a used one. And he was very clever here, and kudos to him, actually. There is a used one coming. It's very cheap, but it will give you the experience of Matsuura because you've not had it. And we said, okay. So we bought that in, and that was the very first MAM, the used one. And that was it. You see the ease of the way it's set, the ease of the tools that's in there. Literally, with this contract we've won, we can put 25, 30, 40 jobs on there, keep them set, run the whole of the parts, the 50 different parts, whatever, and then start again, and then keep running them, because you've got the capacity, you've got the pallets, you've got the tools, you've got everything, so you can just keep going. And all the operator does is said, right, I've run all 25, 30 parts. Now I'm going to start again and again and again and again and again and again. And that is, for me, the good thing about them. I would say reputation, the accuracy, very important, and the usability. They're easy to use, and they. Yeah, it's. I know it might sound a bit cliche, but yeah, you. There's too many things to try and explain.
I get it. I hear it. I go out to machine shops and I hear people praising these machines. The software, the rim software. Let's go back to starting up with a machine like that.
Yeah.
For somebody who's listening to this.
Yeah.
And I keep going back to this, is someone who's thinking, I want to do what you did 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Tooling. You have to consider, what are the variables that you need to consider? You did talk about your inspection department, but before that, before that, what is it? It's not, you're not just buying a machine. No. Let's go, press go, plug and play, go.
Yeah. A good lesson that we learned, actually, just remembering now, with the lights out as well, you need to standardize your tooling. What do I mean by that? You need to, so on the MXs, you've got 90 tool holder stations. What we've done to make it even easier is to standardize those tools. So lengths, diameters, all of, that's the 90 tools you've got in there. That's what you need to use. Okay. And then you look at the jobs and go, so I'm going to put all of these 10 jobs together because I can make all them 10 jobs with that standard suite of tooling. And you go in. So you've got no tool setting. They're already set up. They're already measured and everything. So what would I say? What would I say? Okay.
There is a learning curve.
I found it fun learning. Yeah. I found it scary originally, but once it was here and once we started, it was quite fun actually, because you can look at current jobs where you're doing one at a time, and then you go, hold on a minute. I've got 4 ops on this job. Suddenly they come to you and go, oh, Enzo, I've done this in one day.
Oh, yes.
But not only am I doing 1 at a time, I'm doing 5 at a time. And you just let them free. They're the ones with the knowledge.
Yes.
Let them free. Let them do what they want. Let them engineer it exactly as they want it. And by the time you know it, you'll be on number 2 and number 3 and number 4.
Number 8.
Number 8.
Number 9. Number 10.
Actually, number 9 is
on its way.
On its way, yeah. In hopefully in March next year. So
I think that the value with what you've just told me is an engineer, and I see it, an engineer will go out and they want to be challenged. They want that, when I ask people why they love their job, they say, I love making things. I love being pushed to my limits and being able to use a machine like this and to be able to work out how can I make that better. There's always that constant improvement. People want to make things better, faster, more accurate. Yeah. And I think this is a good tool for somebody.
It's the challenge. It's the challenge. I think it's the challenge because I've known of people in the past, and a long time ago, I've known of employees that have left because they got bored.
Ooh.
Because, and I'm talking 25, 30 years ago.
Yes.
Making the same part day in, day out.
You've just sold automation to everybody listening to this, though.
And
laborious work.
Yeah.
Nah.
They were doing the same job day in, day out. It's great for the company, but they got bored because all they came in and did was push the button. Mm. And now, again, the other lesson learned, like I said, is give them a machine, give them the work holding and the tool holding, just let them get on with it. Challenge them and say, I don't want to make one. When that spindle stops, I want 5 or 6 or 10 finished. Mm. And they love it. They love it.
Do you like running a machine shop? I think I know the answer to this, but go on.
I do. I do because, again, I like to see it born from a piece of material to the other side. And I enjoy working as a team saying, we've achieved this. In fact, actually, it's funny, actually, that I play a lot of tennis.
Yes, Louise was telling me this earlier.
And which is probably another piece of advice. It's probably not the best team sport to play if you're a perfectionist, trust me.
She told me this earlier as well.
So, and it was quite interesting because I am a perfectionist and I like to achieve. And when I say I like to achieve, I like to win. And I see as achievement and winning is the same sort of thing. And I struggled with playing tennis because when I started, I used to lose a lot. I'm not saying that I win all the time now, but I used to lose a lot. And I used to get very frustrated. Mm-hmm. And to a point where I wasn't enjoying it anymore. And so I thought, right, I need to do something about this. So I actually went to see a sports psychiatrist. Just out of interest. And honestly, Lyndsey, within 20 minutes, she cracked me open. Bang. And she said to me, I know what your problem is. You achieve greatness and success every day of your life in engineering because you tell them the results that you want and they achieve it with you and for you. So although they're your ideas, although you are backing them and maybe even, financially supporting it, making them happen, they are the ones that make it happen. When you're on a tennis court, you want to achieve that same perfection, but you haven't got the people around you. It's you.
Yeah.
And you need to and since I've done that, it's changed my perspective on everything. Absolutely everything. Not only did I have someone say you're a perfectionist, but I also had someone saying you achieve greatness because of the people around you. And that has made me appreciate my people even more. And I'm so glad I did that. I did 2 sessions, that's all, not many. And she was able to, and it's changed. It got to, I was smashing tennis rackets.
You weren't?
Yeah.
You're one of those?
Yeah, I was. Oh. And I said, that's enough. Because it was frustration because I knew I could achieve, but I was struggling. And
did you have coaching?
Yeah, I have coaching all the time. And I said, enough's enough. 2 sessions, completely different person. And it helped me with my work life as well.
Isn't it fascinating? Basically, I've learned from this that everyone needs to see a sports psychologist. That's what it is.
But it's just that you're not aware that actually everyone needs to be aware that it's not them that achieve greatness. It's not them personally that achieves the greatness. It's them as a team.
Yeah.
And I think if you, and for me, when I say them as a team, I'm not talking only about me, the management, the team leaders, the operators. I'm talking about machines as well, because that's part of the team. And if you get it all right, and you listen to the people that you think are giving you the advice and you know are giving you the good advice, you will achieve it. But you have to recognize that you can't go out there and say, "Oh, it's me, I've done it all."
No,
Because
you
you
can't.
haven't. You haven't. It's you pull everyone in together, from your people that you employ to the people you buy your equipment in. And if you bring them all together as a team, you will achieve. And that's what these 2 sessions made me see. It wasn't me.
It's the team. What would you do if you weren't doing this? What would you have done? What would your other route have been?
Good question. I don't know.
It's funny, isn't it?
I really don't know, because it's all I know.
all
I
you
mean,
know.
just think, I was 20, 19, 20. So that's all I've known. I've grown up in this company. No, sorry, I do
Go
know.
on.
I
Oh,
do
he
know.
knows
Go on,
now.
guess.
Go on.
Guess. Come
Tennis
on.
player.
No.
Cars.
No.
I have no idea. We're in his office right now, and it's just perfect. It's stereotypical Italian. There's cars everywhere. You've got the flags. It's brilliant.
No.
Go on. What would it have been?
I would have been some sort of, and this is going to sound a bit corny, but hey, who cares? I would want to have been some kind of superstar DJ.
Really?
Yeah.
You like music? Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Music is my world, yeah. And I have my own, as you can imagine,
Yeah.
I have my own mixing console at home that I use and use it to de-stress me.
Yes.
But yeah, I'd love to. I see these and I'm thinking, wow, I would love to play in front of thousands.
Really, really?
Yeah. That's exactly what I would have done. Yeah.
There you go. Ibiza. Here he comes, Enzo.
A bit late now, yeah.
Oh, this has been so interesting.
Thank you.
Just learning
Thank
a
you.
little bit more about you.
It's nice, and it's nice to just like talk to, not only about how good machines are and what it does for your company and so on and so forth, but it's nice just to get to know a person and how they got to the position that they're in.
And I think for you talking about this, I think it brings alive for you the journey that you've been on and what you've done and piece it together. And it's great for us because we get to hear, a real story of and the fact that, we'll round it off now, but there's highs, but there's lows as well. And, what would you say, I'll finish this off now. What was your lowest low? What would you say would have been one of your darker moments?
So darkest moment was, and by far, definitely the darkest moment was being away on holiday, getting a phone call from, I can't remember who it was, manager at the time, and saying that one of our biggest customer is going to pull the plug.
Wow.
And literally, not going to lie, not knowing if I was going to come back to find a company while I was on holiday. Came back, customer pulled the plug on I think it was a £1.2 million order that I'd bought me shit. I wasn't in the position anywhere near that I am now then, but not knowing if we had to close the company. That's how close it was, literally. That was while you're on holiday, like 2 days into your holiday.
You've got that time away from your family. You feel like you've done all of that hard work. You've got that rest. Everyone needs a rest. We all get burnt out.
2 days in, bang. And I'm thinking, do I go home now?
Yeah.
And then I thought to myself, you can't do anything about it now.
Mm.
I was only away for a week, but yeah, that was the lowest point. And also, walking out sometimes and thinking, what am I doing?
Really?
Yeah, when it gets too much. But Yeah, you definitely need a de-stressor.
You need a balance.
Yeah.
That's your tennis, that's your music.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
let's finish this on a good note.
Yeah.
What is the highest point or one of the best moments that you feel or that have come from this company?
The highest points are when you are offered a contract from a company that I've only got one UK supplier, and you sign a contract for 15 years.
It's confidence.
And you know that you've achieved that as a company, as a team, as a whole, basically. You don't get them every day. And when you get those, it just seems to offset anything that goes wrong. You know,
Life-changing.
it is life-changing because, that's me done, hopefully. I won't stop.
I know.
That's what we said earlier.
I said in 10 years' time, where will you be? And he said, hopefully on a yacht. I said, you're not going to stop. I know, I can see it straight away. You're not going to stop.
No. As long as the Wi-Fi is strong, I can work from the sun. Yeah.
Louise will be like, stop it. No, stop. Off the Wi-Fi. No, you love it and you can see it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's wonderful.
I would be bored without it.
Yeah.
You know, the challenge to come in, sort things out, go home, you think, I've done it good today.
Yeah. I think let's leave it on that
Thank you very much.
So, Enzo, thank you so much. On a positive note, you've got another Matsuura en route in, and a couple of other machines as well, I've heard.
Yes.
Um,
So there's a lot of growth here at R&G Precision. So from all of us at MTDCNC, we wish you the best of luck.
Thank you very much.
And hopefully we'll be back in again soon and cover some of the other machines that you're bringing in and technology to your ever-growing business here in Northamptonshire. Thanks, Enzo.
Thank you. Thanks, Lyndsey.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the MTDCNC podcast, sponsored by Langley Alloys, specialists in a wide range of exotic materials for any application for all your engineering needs.